the Denver Nuggets decided to come out and not bring their hearts and their blood with them onto the court last night. Like, there was no intensity, there was no sense of urgency. It was not the feeling that it was a closeout game for the Denver Nuggets. I don't know why they were so flat. I don't know why it came across as just a nonchalant approach to what was a closeout game, but they did not come out prepared to close out the series, and Minnesota had an energy that Denver did not match. That's really what it came down to. Like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, they got Mike Conley back. He's out there. Like, does that make a difference? It was like, no, it didn't really make a tremendous difference seeing what he did. Maybe there was the presence on the court that maybe balanced it out a little bit more, but I didn't see them really the Timberwolves do too much differently from what they did in the last game. Yeah, I thought this was more so about the Denver Nuggets and them not matching the intensity. Their shooting was off. It just was not a team that looked like they were the former champs and looked like they were ready to close out the series and go to the next round. I mean, that was my takeaway from it. It was kind of disheartening, really, because it's like you're looking at them and it's like, why are y'all so, like, laid back in the way that – and it just didn't seem like it mattered that the Timberwolves were doing what they were doing within the game. So, maybe they can I still don't think they can beat them 2 games in a row.
Does this lead you to a conspiracy theory that maybe, like, they're just like, hey, take this thing to Game 7, okay? Then you guys can close out, go into the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, the NBA has already set the table for 2 Game 7s on Sunday. Like, they've already set the table. Indiana's going to win Game 6, and we're going to get 2 Game 7s on Sunday.
I just was so underwhelmed by the way the Denver Nuggets approached the game. It just didn't make sense. Like, if they would have gave more effort than what they did, they probably win that game. But they just didn't give the effort, and it was apparent. I mean, there were open shots, which, by the way, I mean, if you're shooting as much as these guys shoot, they miss a ton. Like, these three-pointers, that's all they do is just shoot. Like, I don't know. I saw Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray slashes to the rim. Like, again, you always got to have 1 or 2 guys that can get to the rim that gives you the space on the outside to be able to shoot. Jamal Murray was trying to do so. They just weren't making the shots. He was doing what he needed to do, but it almost seemed like Anthony Edwards kind of punked him in this game. Like, almost like, man, it took his heart. Like, he doesn't seem like he wants that smoke with him. He took him man-to-man, head up, threw that off a little bit. They were doubling up and really, really collapsing in on Jokic to try to, disrupt him. They did disrupt him. But I thought this was more so about Denver than it was about the Wolves.
I wonder how Jokic's horse is doing. Maybe there's like a sick horse or something going on back home.
Good point. Yeah, and the Preakness is this weekend, so maybe he's got, his sights on other things.
It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, it makes more sense than them coming out in Game 6 with a chance to close it out and getting annihilated by close to 50. But Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, he did talk post-game, and he talked about, again, his advice and recommendation on how to be successful for Karl Anthony Towns, and also a nice little exchange, because apparently he told everybody this is how this was going to go.
Every time we come out, Cat is on Jokic, so it wasn't new today. I think the main thing today was his ass stayed out of foul trouble like I told him in the Phoenix series. That was all that was. Yeah, I mean, I cussed him out. Every chance I get, bro. Stop fouling. Like, I think you guys see it. Like, if Cat don't foul, we pretty much can win the game every time. And tonight, I mean, he had 3 fouls, but he only had 3. He didn't have 5. So I told him today, like, we thankful that you didn't foul, because if you foul, we lose.
Did you really tell the locker room staffer in Denver you were going to be back?
Hell yeah, they know. I was in there. Yeah, I told them. I said, I see y'all was for Game 7.
He's the best.
He's 22 years old and literally says and does what he pleases in the league.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, the personalities right now in the NBA, if there's one thing that I think, with no Steph Curry, no LeBron, no, Kevin Durant at this point in time, you've gotten such a better, I guess, array of like younger talent personalities, guys who I think are going to really carry the flag for the NBA moving forward. And I feel good about that. Like I don't feel great about where the game of basketball is at schematically with the way LaVar's just kind of talking about how they have to play. But I do feel good about the personalities, the players, the skill. It is as good as it's ever been in that regard.
Go ahead.
Well, at 22 years old, and he's taken over the role of lead. Like there's veterans, players that have been in that league for a long time that are on that team. And he's the guy. Like, he's the alpha, sort of telling everybody. Like, you watch him on the sideline. Like, he's instructing them. He's coaching guys up on the bench. Like, I don't know how you get to that point or when it clicked for him when he got to the NBA and just realized, no. This is my team. This is my franchise. I'm not letting anybody steer us. I got the wheel. Everybody follow along and let's get to this point. Like, let's take this franchise places that hasn't gone before and take the league places. He's got to be one of the most entertaining, fun players to watch and does it completely different than most players in the NBA do. Like, calls it like it is without a care in the world. That's a guy we got to hear more from.
He's a guy. I'll tell you that. He handles the media well. He's genuine. He's sincere. And the way he plays the game matches his personality. I mean, he's got a boyish look to him, boyish face. But his game is all killer, all dog.
He's got a baby face? Is that what you're saying?
Got a baby face.
Got that baby face.
With a full grown ass man game.
Damn.
And he handles himself in a way where he disarms you. He doesn't come across as an aggressive guy. He doesn't come across as kind of, I don't know, off balance. He's a star. He's a guy.
Also, you know what? Not a load management guy.
Not a load management guy.
No. He's missed 3 games each of the last 2 years. Just not a load management guy going out there. I think there was a quote that he had earlier this year where they asked him, about load management, and he's like, I'm 22. It's like, I want to play. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm out here wanting to play. So it's fun to watch, fun to see Ant Edwards. And listen, I think it's better for everybody here. Like, how, growing up sometimes, if dad comes home from work unhappy, you're like, all right,
oh, yeah.
This is not a good place to be.
Yeah,
I think it's better for everybody here at the network that Minnesota performs well. Because we don't want to have to deal with the wrath of Scott Shapiro if they're not performing well. Like that's a problem. Nobody wants that smoke.
So what are you claiming? That like Scott's going to punish us just because the T-Wolves aren't going to be able to win Game 7? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm just saying, like, he may, like, Scott might be like, all right, listen, Minnesota came out, laid an egg in Game 7, hour 3, fully dedicated to Caitlin Clark coverage. And it's like, okay, geez. All right. Like, that's why we need to root for the Minnesota Timberwolves to perform well, at least respectable, so that we don't have to feel the wrath when dad comes home pissed off at something that happened, takes it out on the rest of the family.
Is it sad that I feel like Caitlin Clark belongs in an Iowa Hawkeye uniform? It's like almost like I don't even like seeing her in a pro uniform. It's like she's one of those ones that she belongs in being a Iowa Hawkeye.
Like a Christian Laettner?
I'll
like a
Christian
Laettner.
It doesn't matter what uniform she has on. There's a bullseye on her back right now.
Well, that's true.
I mean, Liberty made a statement last night. And Breonna Stewart, who's been one of the better players in the WNBA for a while, they let it all hang out. And they're just like, yep, come get some of this. So look, all the girls talked about her having a tough transition into the WNBA, but I do feel like the jealousy that's involved too, and a little bit of like this like rookie year, let's just go ahead and make sure she knows that like she's not going to have it as easy as she did in college. It's very evident, seeing the way teams not only play her, but even just poured on her team. But also, she's on an awful team. Like, there's not a lot of help around her, at least when you put put into comparison to the couple of teams they've played so far.
Listen, hope it goes well for her, and you guys let me know how it does go, because I'll be watching the NBA playoffs and focusing on some other things here.